I guess much. Should I give it more place? Oh, well, I'm still calling it for them. Yeah. Well, we're not talking about Sean. It'll maybe the lake. Yeah, I think say the last was that's give it again. I asked him to sing for the Bashala. Oh, yeah, I can. Can. No, no, I'm thinking. And Galish Mashiach now. Latayim, Latayim, Latayim. Right. And the Alter Rebbe was sitting with his friends, and one of them seemed really down. And he said, "What's the matter with you?" There was a note that came down from heaven, and in the note it said, the Malach Michal can accomplish, but can accomplish more. And someone just asked, what does Malach Michal do? He's a Negurin Shel Yisrael. That's a full-time job to help the Jewish people. And even though that's his full-time job, says the Alter Rebbe, that saying L'chaim Chassidus Shababrengen can do more. How much more so in a Chassidus Shababrengen that's dedicated for the Chag Giyul of the Alter Rebbe and Yutas Kislev. We know that Chassidim waited all year for this. Chassidim waited all year for this extraordinary event. So firstly, L'chaim, L'chaim, L'chaim. L'chaim, Amir Hashem. Amir Hashem, all the Yidden that need a pot of B'Shalom, that they should have a pot of B'Shalom. And from this Gula, we should go to the real Gula, with the coming of Mashiach Tzidkenu. We every year, this is 15 years that we're doing the siyum hashas. The Rebbe said that the siyum hashas works like this. It's a co-op. When you take one Masechta at the end of the year, it's as if you finished entire Shas. So I encourage you, if you didn't yet take a Masechta, please take a Masechta. I know it's not easy. We have here people that are sitting that will testify that this changed their life. We have here people that are taking big Masechtas, people that have jobs. Thank you, Nusi took Masechtas Sanhedrin, and Ari Bencher took 3 Gesetzte Masechtas. Now we have Menachem Pomerantz every year takes a Gesetzte Masechta. We have Shmuley Greenwald, Rabbi Greenwald, who's taking this year Baba Kama and Baba Metzia, Alan Shechatovitz, Baba Basra. I mean, these are heavy Masechtas in Yeshikoyach. So you should know, even if you take a small Masechta, it's as if you did the entire Shas. Okay. I want to take this opportunity again to thank everyone that's helping. Mr. Sasson Azar, thank you. Menachem Kamran, thank you. Rabbi Bromstein, the Mitzvahs of the Shidduch, and Nasa Genot, thank you very much. And Mitzvah Hashem from Nachas the Kinderlein. I'm finishing this Masechta Makis, but this is it's a circle. The Shas is a circle every year. And Rabbi Brom, Shekoyach for your son. We're finishing, Okay, good. We're finishing the Masechtas Makis. The Masechta Makis finishes with a story. The story is like this. Rabbi Gamliel, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, Rabbi Yeshua, Rabbi Akiva, Mahalchim b'derech v'shomu kol hamoyna shel Roimi, v'rochak meya v'esri mil. They were quite far from the place called Roimi, presumably Rome, or whatever, a city that was called Roimi. And they were quite far, and they already heard the hustle and bustle of the city. It's they cried. But Rabbi Akiva Mesachik, Rabbi Akiva was laughing. They said to Rabbi Akiva, why are you laughing? He said to them, Why are you crying? They said to him, Betach v'hashkin mona beis beis adoim b'ragla l'keinu sora beish. These people, they bow to the dust on their feet. The Romans were pagans, the original Romans, and by the Beis Hamikdash, they destroyed the Beis Hamikdash. The Beis Hamikdash is burned. V'lo nifke, we shouldn't cry. Amar lahem l'kachem nemetzachik. That's why I laugh. If we see the pleasure and tranquility that a city of Rome is going through, and they're over it, saying they go against Eibishter. So how much more will be when Mashiach will come for the Jewish people? Shum Maisa Kamachas was the second story. Hoyoilam Yerushalayim. They were going up to Yerushalayim, Kibishkir Laharat Soifim. As they came up to Harat Soifim, Mount Skofim, Bigdayim, they ripped their clothing as the halacha requires. They saw a fox walking out of the place of the Kodesh HaKadoshim. They cried, Rabbi Akiva was laughing. They said to him, why are you laughing? He said to them, why are you crying? They said, we shouldn't cry. Then the base of the Beis Hamikdash, there's a fox walking there. Rabbi said, that's why I'm laughing. The why did the pasuk use these two Nevi'im as a witness? Because Tola Akosim Navasa Shel Zechariah ben Navasa Shel Uriah. The Uriah Ksiv Lachein Meglal Kamsin Sot Tifarish. That by Uriah it says that the doom and gloom prophecy that the place of the Beis Hamikdash will be plowed as a field. The Zechariah Ksiv the glory of what will be when Mashiach will come. Or Yeshu Zekeinim Uzekeines Berechovis Yerushalayim. And that there will be a time that will be such tranquility and beauty in the city of Yerushalayim that Skenis will be sitting on the park benches and the children will be laughing and playing. So when I didn't see yet the fulfillment of Uriah's prophecy, I was scared about the fulfillment of Zechariah's prophecy. Now that the prophecy of doom and gloom from Uriah, the destruction took place, now we know that the Nevuah of Zechariah, which is the redemption, will also be fulfilled. They said, wait, time is very short. I just want to say the Nekuda that the Rebbe once said. The Rebbe used to make a siyum, Yutas Kislev among because it was a siyum Hashas, and then would usually make the siyum on his Masechta. In the year Tavshin Lamed Aleph, the Rebbe made a siyum on this Masechta, and incident has everything to do with what's going on right now in the world. Our heart goes out to Yidden that are Rahman al in such a difficult situation. And as there are children and women that are coming out of captivity, so a child is saying that they were being kept in an attic of a worker for the UN. The UN was pouring millions of dollars to help the so-called refugees in Gaza. Millions of dollars. So a worker for the UN was holding this boy in his attic, and they would go 3 days without food and without drink. Rahman al-Islam would almost die. And another child was being held by a doctor who was keeping his practice going while he had in the basement a Jewish child. And again, no food, no drink. Rahman al-Islam. Rahman al-Islam. So this siyum that we're learning today is not just the siyum that the Rebbe said in the year Tavshin Lamed Aleph, but incidentally, we're learning it now because it's relevant for what we're doing and what we're living right now. The Rebbe asked, what's going on in the siyum? Why were they, first of all, what kind of question is it, why are you crying? If Rabbi Akiva ripped his begodim, right? So what is this question? Why are you crying? And then he says, I didn't know if the nevuah of Zechariah will come true until I see the nevuah of the destruction of Uriah. Or he didn't think that the nevuah of Zechariah will come true. So in a nutshell, the Rebbe said that why were they crying now? Why weren't they crying till now? So you would say, oh, because when they see the they hear 120 miles, they hear the hustle and bustle and the excitement in the city, it touches their heart. The Rebbe says, no, that wasn't the point. The point was that they knew that it's advantageous for the Jewish people to be persecuted, and then it's not a bizarre that at least that the Churban would happen by a world superpower. So the Eibishter made it's the covet for Klal Yisrael. But however, they said, why do they have to have so much glory? They already destroyed the Beis Hamikdash. For 120 meal, there has to be such glory in their city. They already destroyed the Beis Hamikdash. Now they could be destroyed. And if they need to live, do they need to live with such splendor, with such glory? 120 miles away, you can already hear Kol HaMoina, so that's why they were crying. And the same thing with the Beis Hamikdash. The Beis Hamikdash is destroyed, but it has to be with such a bizoyin that there should be a shul, Yoritzim Beis Kodesh HaKadoshim, that the wax is sitting there on top of the Har HaBayis, and a private tish, the biggest bizoyin that can be. Do we have to, when we see this, it hurts. So they started to cry. So the Rabbi Akiva said, if without seeing this, I would say, yes, definitely there's going to be a redemption. There will be a nevuah of Zechariah. But in what splendor? In what way would it be? Perhaps it will just be a geula, and that's it. But I know that the geula is based on the churban, and if the churban is so spectacular, so crushing, it has to be that the geula will be on the same scale. If this is what's going on in Rome, Yerushalayim, when it will be rebuilt, it'll be a lachas kama v'kama. So I couldn't imagine how beautiful Yerushalayim will be. Now I can imagine how it will be. 50 years ago, who can imagine? Lubavitcher Rebbe was a voice. It was a koil koida b'midbar. It was a voice that Rebbe. It was so. I remember when I was a child in 770 when the Rebbe used to talk about the situation in Eretz Yisrael, and it was painful. It was painful to listen. It was painful to listen. You know, it's like you wanted to shut down like a flower. Like you didn't know where to put yourself. On the one hand, nothing is happening. We're talking about 50 years ago. Nothing is happening. The world was in euphoria, 67, and the Rebbe was screaming that this Abachia L'Doiris, Ma'amdua Bossi Ve'en Ish, Karossi Ve'en Oina. I mean, what kind of language is this? And a couple of peaceniks in 1980 get together, and the Rebbe says, Maharisayach Ma'akarivayach Mimayach Yitzeu. It almost sounded like gross exaggeration. About giving away land, and the Rebbe said that this is putting 6 million at that time, 3 million Jews in Sakonis Nefashis, and it almost seemed it didn't seem like a reality. And today we see that whatever the Rebbe said 50 years ago and 60 years ago is so relevant. And the Rebbe saw it then, what we see now. That's it. The Rebbe saw then what we see now. So why am I saying all this? When we see that when the Nevuah Shel Uriah was Niskayim in such a spectacular way, the Rebbe said that if this is the way we're going to treat the Arabs, that we are ashamed of our Jewishness, and we try to hear what the world is going to say, the Rebbe says it's going to be much worse. If this is what we're going to do, it's going to be much worse. And it came exactly the path. And we thought at Simchas Torah, after these gruesome pictures came out to the world, there's no way the world is. It's unbelievable. The Rebbe said that this comes from because we care what the world says, and it starts by a frum yid caring what the kel zora shem bekir berachos says, because the first din of Shulchan Aruch is al yevish mipnei amaligim. We care. Someone's going to laugh. Someone's going to scarce. Is going to gevaron oichet achosid. Oh, shem falost abord. Shenoich gevaron achosid. That daven blind. Shenoich gevaron achosid. He came from the big Lubavitcher Chassidim, and he's learning Maimonim, and he's thinking, and he's doing. So when we hear what the world says, the kel zorach shebekir b'cha, and then there's Jews in Eretz Yisrael that hear what the UN says and what the Goyim will say. And we see that whatever the Rebbe said came true. So when we see the nevuah of Uriah coming true, so we should think to ourselves that the Rebbe for many years also spoke about another nevuah. The Rebbe said that hine Mashiach ba, that Mashiach station da, that we have to, and that the avodas Hashem now is to be mekabel pnei Mashiach tzidkenu. That there really is an avoida. It's not like that there's a scout of the Geula didn't even start. The Choshech HaGolus is unbelievable. And before the light, the enemy, before you knock out the enemy, he tries to throw his last punch, and it's very dark. But the Rebbe says now the avodas Hashem of Ayid is not only to get rid of the Choshech, but to be mekabel pnei Mashiach tzidkenu. That we should avodas Hashem needs to be infused with a certain simcha and with a certain Ahavas Hashem, because we're reading Mashiach Tzidkenu. There were G'dolei Yisrael that had a little suitcase packed up, they were ready for B'bias Mashiach Tzidkenu. With the morning we spoke about, the Mingat Sharuf said, the Zayda, the B'nai Yisrael kept a menorah, a special menorah, because our minig is that we don't light al Pesach Beisim Bachutz, for whatever reason. We made a little mix and match. The Gemara says, al Pesach Beisim Bachutz, Dor B'aliyah B'chaloin. But we do it in the house between the dining room and the living room. It's not like one of the options even in the Gemara. But as in the Kedosh Elyon Geton, and he himself, but he kept a special menorah, Mashiach at Kimen, so then he's going to have to put a menorah al Pesach Beisa in Machut. So he commissioned, they should build for him a menorah with glass and a cover, v'chula, and he kept it Mashiach at Kimen. So the Rebbe said that today it's not for Chasidei Elyon and Kedoshim, for the B'nai Yisrael and the Chafetz Chaim, which for every Yid should live in a way that there's something there, that we have up some Ashtikul Toida, Shagasaya on our mind, an exciting mind in our mind. There's something that we're getting, that we have an excitement, and our avodas Hashem is l'kabel b'nei Mashiach tzidkenu. So now that we see that the nevuah about the safety and security of Eretz Yisrael, of what the Rebbe said should be done and wasn't done, how the nevuah came true lahafli. So we know that the other nevuah, that hine Mashiach ba amadaf yetz avodas Hashem l'kabel b'nei Mashiach tzidkenu, that we see that just like the first nevuah was niskayim in such a spectacular way, the same the other nevuah. And for this they said Akiva Nechamtonu, it's a double nechama, because everything in the Geula Shleima is going to be in a way of double. Okay, now while I'm going to say the Hadran, everyone Yisrael will say L'chaim, and we'll say L'chaim with the whole heart. And like we said Shabbos, that the Rebbe said, we say L'shon and Toivin, the Kaseidim, we say Chazemu, B'loshin Yochid. So let's all give each other a bracha. Hadran Allah, the seventh smack, Allah, Daikos, Allah. So,